Hi all! Everything in my video is pulled from the public domain, and I am using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information for yourselves, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Good morning, everybody. We have a couple of big topics to discuss and then a few small little items thrown in at the end. And we're ending with a Finn video. I know you guys wanted an update on him and I'm going to throw it in here. So let's just dive right in. Let's go. We're going to start this with some articles that are coming out basically telling Harry and Meghan they need to really think about what they're doing before they do things because they've had bad PR ever since they arrived in the United States. But why have they had bad PR? Well, they've had bad PR because they're completely tone deaf. Who can forget when Harry rented out an American cemetery and trampled over American graves because the Queen wouldn't allow him a personal wreath at the cenotaph, which is never done. No wreaths are personal. Who can forget when they went to New York and Meghan wore a pinky diamond that came from the Middle East from the very people who created that memorial because they attacked the United States? Who can forget eco heroes, Harry and Meghan, who have taken 21 private jets in 2 years? If they donate diapers, they make sure to let everybody know what they're doing. The birthday video, the bench book, the New York trip. Everything is very self-serving, and they've gotten bad PR for all of it. Most people, except for their crazy cult, are aware of this, but these two don't seem to know or care. For them, it's money, 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 which leads us into our next topic for the day. What this story is that Harry and Meghan are moving into, quote, ethical banking. They have been appointed impact partners, which is basically meaning that they're investing money. This is simply something that's going into their investment portfolio, just like the coffee place, remember? What I found interesting was what they said in the article was, quote, in a joint interview, Meghan, a multi-millionaire former actress who lives with her royal husband and children in a $14 million LA mansion, said, from the world I come from, you don't talk about investing. You don't have the luxury to invest. That sounds so fancy. Again, tone deaf. They didn't say if they were being paid, and they didn't say how much of any money they actually put in for their impact partner roles. And they said that an impact partner was, best guess, a supercharged brand ambassador. Yeah, okay. But she ranks right up there with the 3 dogs that are listed. One is a chief smile officer and the other 2 are responsible for security. Maybe this is a good fit for them. Remember, they want to help women, they want to help the African Americans, and they want, all the minorities, except this was set up by 3 pasty white guys. Guess that doesn't matter. And as it was pointed out on Twitter, somebody who wore a blood diamond to the 9/11 memorial is going to tell us how to ethically invest. So all this is, you guys, is another thing to put in their portfolio. I'm sure they did invest some money. I'm sure they were guaranteed some sort of a return. I think it'll be very interesting to see what happens, but that's really all this is. This is just word salad and trying to get you to invest, and that's all it is. It's another thing in their portfolio. Tell me the 2 of them didn't have something about, something to do with this statement. We're diverse backgrounds. We're global. We're on a shared mission where investing is sustainable. What the heck does that mean? Investing is sustainable. People have been investing their money for how many hundreds of years? Yes, it's sustainable. It's always been sustainable. You want to invest in what you want to invest in, go for it. But that doesn't mean you're going to make money. By the way, for those of you who haven't noticed, all these companies that are recruiting them, Better Up and, this bank, these are all small companies. You don't hear anything from the big ones because the big ones won't touch them with a 10-foot pole. That's why these small companies are trying to recruit them to help boost their company status. We all know that these 2 have the mantra, do as I say, not as I do. And they want you to give money to this ethical funding company. But are you guys aware that even though they just went to Vax Live and were calling for vaccine makers to share their secrets, this company plowed millions into pharmaceutical companies to develop those jabs? This company, Ethic, gave $747,000 to Pfizer, $1.6 million to AstraZeneca, $2.2 million to Novartis, and $2.5 million to Johnson & Johnson. It also invested $6.9 million in Facebook shares, and if you're ready for this, $32 million in Alphabet, which is the mother or father company of YouTube owner Google, and another $2 million to fund Twitter. So essentially what it comes down to is Harry and Meghan are investing their own money in stakes in social media giants and the pharmaceutical companies that they've been denouncing. But as long as they make money, I think they're okay with it. Let's not forget about the bank that paid Harry almost $1 million for a speech and flew him over on a private jet. He hasn't given any speeches. Don't forget he signed up with that Walker agency. Not one speech has he given. Nobody's paid them for their speeches. You haven't heard a word from anybody. As a matter of fact, the only major company that quote unquote joined up with them was Procter & Gamble. Yes, I know about Netflix, and yes, I know about Spotify. I'm going to cover that in my next video, what's happening there, okay? So let's just move on. Since I mentioned it, I'm just, about the eco-warrior thing. Harry and Meghan are not attending the Global Leaders Conference, which is in Rome on the 23rd of October. And they announced they are not attending the COP26 Climate Change Conference in November. I think we can all guess that it's because the Queen, his father, and his brother are going to be there, and he hasn't got the kahunas to face them, even on such an important topic. He's just going to avoid the family altogether. Okay, moving on now. Guess I should also add that he probably wasn't invited. Okay, now we can move on. This man has my total respect. He's former England star John Barnes, and he came out and said that not all blacks like Meghan Markle. He also dismissed claims that Harry and Meghan made about an unnamed senior royal that focused on the color of Archie's skin before he was born. Mr. Barnes is married to a Caucasian woman. They have multiple children, like 5 or 7 children, and he says that he would expect that kind of conversation. That is a normal thing to ask about in a mixed race couple. This man said exactly what I have said on how many videos. It's important to separate the idea of racism and her character as a human being. How many times have I said that? People don't object to her color. They object to her character. This man said, the problem now is if you don't like her, people call you a racist. How many times have I said that? That's exactly what she's done. He also stated that most black people would say, so what, to the question reportedly posed by the royal, whoever it was, while Meghan was pregnant. This man has written a book about racism, and he says that that question was not surprising at all. With that, I'm going to put this up because this is absolutely true. If you put red ants and black ants in the jar together, they live well together and they're fine. But if you shake the jar, they start killing each other. The red ants think the black ants are bad. The black ants think the red ants are bad. And the truth is, it's the person who shook the jar. Seems to me it's pretty obvious who's shaking the jar, people. Okay, now we're down to the last thing we're going to cover today. I found this on Facebook, and everybody says that they're pretty sure it's just a fan page. But look at the bottom of it. It says that there are multiple admins. I find that very interesting. I'm pretty sure they're using this to peek around. The page name has not changed since it was set up in 2019. What's got my attention is that there's no way to check the IP address and the names of the admins are not listed. Usually organizations tell you who's running the page. This one does not. So I have a sneaking suspicion this is being used to check on things. Just my opinion. All right, here's Finn. Let's talk a little bit about Finn. When Finn hears a noise outside, he growls. I don't like it. Husband said that's normal. He's protecting his pack, I guess. When we walk him, he is always on a short leash. And we always let him approach people. They don't approach him. What I was talking about with that teenager on one of my other videos, we were walking, teenager was coming towards us. We let Finn walk up to the teenager, sniff the teenager. But then he began to growl and the hair stood up on his neck. My husband immediately pulled him back, corrected him, shortened the leash, and that was it. I I don't know. I've never had a dog before that's ever growled in any way at anybody. So anyway, long story short, we went out to dinner and hubby insisted on taking him, and here is how it went. Hey. Good boy. Good boy. I really want your opinions on the quote, ethical banking quote, and I really want your opinions on the footballer and his coming out and basically saying that a lot of the blacks don't like Harry and Meghan because they're creating a race issue where there was none. Don't forget to leave your comments below. Don't forget that you can follow me on Twitter. My email address is in the description box there. And you guys write that down and keep it somewhere safe in case something happens to me after what happened to Wally and Murky. I would hate to just disappear. So make sure you keep that email address, very important. Don't forget about that coffee fund. And as always, you guys, have a great day.